Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I hope you're doing well today. Just want to let you know that it is absolutely raining cats and dogs outside. There is a hurricane on the way, and it looks like it's going to be hitting the area that I am in around about Wednesday evening. Now, just by chance, I am going to be I'm going to be out of this area and further down the coast, down near the Miami area. However, that area could be still affected. And so if there is any interruptions to my streams on a Thursday, I think Thursday will be the day that could be the one that could be challenging to get a stream out. So if there's any issue, I will update in the Discord, and I will be in the Discord during that time going over things, and I'll kind of try and do a little bit of a hybrid version of the show in the Discord. So check out Twitter, because I will update on Twitter as well. The links for the Discord are below in the description. Okay, in my cheat sheet and below my cheat sheet, there are more links for my Twitter and also for the Discord if you're not signed up for the Discord yet. The most amazing Discord on the planet, the Stocks with Josh Discord. I am in the crypto channel there daily with just some incredible people there. It'd be fantastic. So wherever you are tuning in from around the world, I want to welcome you to the channel. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to talk about, in hindsight, it will be so obvious, okay? What will be so obvious in hindsight? You're about to find out what that is. And if you haven't smashed the like already, you knew what was coming, smash that like. This helps get this video out to more people and does help to support the channel. The comments that people leave below, so appreciate that, because it takes the time that you take to do that. I really respect that. Thank you for that. And I read all of them and respond to all of them. And also any of the questions that get left in the comment section as well, I too look to get back to those as soon as possible. Okay. And so for those of you also, I still am getting little comments here and there about that you've sent an email for the one-on-one paid trainings. If I haven't gotten back to you yet, it's just because I'm still getting through the list. So please be patient. Also, I may have gotten back to you, but maybe my email went to your spam or junk folder. So I do have a few people, a small number of people, maybe 5 or 6, that I have emailed that I haven't had a reply as of yet. Okay, so certainly you check those areas. Maybe the email is sitting in there and I have replied to you. And if you do want to register your interest for one and would like to find out more about these one-on-one paid trainings, you can just send an email. The link is below. My email is below in the description as well. Just send me an email. You'll be added to the wait list, and when it's your turn, I will be able to contact you. Okay, so with all the drama of all the hurricanes, and certainly we pray for all of those that are affected by Hurricane Helene for their safety and recovery, and also praying for this current hurricane, this will be reduced in category. I think right now it's a category 3, right down to maybe just by the time it hits landfall to much lower, more of a normal general storm. And of course, we just pray that people will stay safe and that there will be, limiting impact there of the hurricane, or it will just blow away altogether somewhere off into the ocean there. All right, we're going to jump into the show, and we're going to find out in hindsight what will be so obvious. We're also going to look at the Bitcoin charts as well. We had a little bit of action over the weekend. It was a little bit flat on Saturday, a little bit of sideways chop, and then we started to take off. So let's jump into some news, and then we're going to jump into the charts. And so first of all, in hindsight, it will be so obvious. And this, feel like, and we're going to look at the charts in a moment. But if we see here, we can see this is Bitcoin on the monthly, and this is really where we're looking to flip. And you can see here in the previous cycle top, there was resistance here on this line, and now we've broken above it and have had several monthly closes above it and are still holding the line here. That line looks like to be about kind of where we are right now, 63,000 line. Obviously, if we go a little bit lower than that, that's where we come into the 200 EMA on the daily, the golden indicator for this phase of the bull run. Okay. And so in hindsight, it will be so obvious. We'll look back and go, wow, why were we so fearful? Look at these wicks down here. This is big buy pressure. And look, we got a couple of smaller wicks here, but the wicks down here are much lower. So, I mean, look at this one here. If you bought that wick when there was so much fear, and this is what we want to buy. We want to buy fear. We want to buy the dips. We want to buy the pullbacks. We want to add in those areas. And so we'll look in hindsight. It was so obvious. We're going to look about that in the charts already. And I've certainly talked about my dumb and dumb indicator. Maybe it should be called the Captain Obvious indicators. And so I will talk about that in a moment. And then we have with Bitcoin, there is a chart that bears may not like to look at. If you're a bear, you might want to look away. If you've been bearish and calling for Bitcoin to go to some very low levels, you might well want to look away here. And this is what we saw in October 2023. And are we going to see a repeat for October 2024? And also, if you go back to October 2020 and look, you'll see a very similar price action where it took off in October. But I've only been telling you this for a little while now. That history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes, and I think we may see a repeat. The Bitcoin cycle is just continuing to follow the pattern that has continued to follow, and this just gives us a blueprint. Okay, it gives us a blueprint. This way, we're not shaken out by fear and FUD. We just see those as opportunities to buy the dip there. Okay, and then lastly, before we get into the charts, is the heat map warning about liquidity. And so at 66,200, 10 billion shorts will be liquidated. Now, I want to teach you what a short squeeze is. For those of you who don't know, you hear the term, we're going to have a short squeeze. What's a short squeeze? Is that like a quick hug of a loved one? You know, when you sold your coin too early and then it takes off and is that a short squeeze? No, that's not a short squeeze, okay? A short squeeze is when players who have betted against Bitcoin and are betting that the market will go short and have taken a loan, a leveraged short position against Bitcoin or another coin, and the price gets to a point where they either get stop lossed out or they get totally liquidated because they didn't have a stop loss. This is like a spot buy. That's a spot buy. And what happens when you have this massive influx of short squeeze, it's like a spot buy. It simulates a spot buy, and then that could trigger another short squeeze of 16 billion liquidation sitting at 70,300, which can then squeeze and like a spot buy, and then jump the price up to 72,578, where there is 18 billion, and then that would push it over its all-time high. That's why you see such sudden, violent price movements of Bitcoin. It's the leverage market with over-leveraged shorts that get liquidated, and then it turns into a spot buy, pushes Bitcoin up, and then there's more liquidations above more liquidations until all the leverage is wiped out. And then you see it go a little bit sideways, or too many longs come into the market. And so you have a long squeeze. I don't know if they call it a long squeeze, but the same thing can happen the other way. When too many people are going long and then the price drops, it's like a sell, and then that drops the price, and then the people below get liquidated until all the liquidations are flushed out, okay? And this is why I titled this video, In Hindsight, It Will Be So Obvious. This is why I've been buying the fear, buying the dips, okay? So I hope that helped give you some instruction on how leverage works. And if you're not familiar with leverage, it's basically just people can take out any leverage, any level of leverage from no leverage to 20x to 100x. I think some places might even offer more. That means you're borrowing heavily. For every $1 for 100 leverage, you're getting $100 in borrowing. But if it goes more than $1 against you, your position gets liquidated, okay? Because they are not going to lose their money. So as soon as your money gets used up, the position is gone. So I hope that helps describe that a little bit. And this is why, in hindsight, it will be so obvious, because if you look at this, this is exactly what happened here. We have here on the Bitcoin chart, these dips here that I gave you, these dips, the Captain Obvious dips. Should we call them the Captain Obvious dips or the Dumb and Dumber dips? I want your vote. Either put Captain Obvious in the comments or put Dumb and Dumber in the comments below. Or maybe so easy a caveman can do it, dip by the dip. Okay, so there are three options there for you: the caveman, the Captain Obvious, and the Dumb and Dumber dip. But these were obvious dips to buy. This is why I gave them. There were people this time going, it's going to 40s and 30s. And I'm like, no, buy. And I was buying here. I gave levels on my cheat sheet here for you to buy. I was in the Discord giving buy setups at these levels, and look what happened. Same thing here in August. This was the most obvious one to buy, by the way. And I was in the Discord that entire day trading there with people and giving levels and buy levels and support levels and buying this dip. And then same over here. And this is, of course, turned into an inverse head and shoulders. And then we also have a cup and handle. I mean, there are just too many bullish things going on for me to have thought that this was ever going to go to those silly levels that people were saying down here of in the 40s or 30s. The bull market would be over and the 4-year cycle would be broken at that point. Now, what I've added to this chart, and I haven't had it on this chart before, I've talked about it before, because they usually are quite close together. As you can see, the 200 simple moving average in this light blue line here, and the 200 EMA in this thick orange line. I might change this at some point, not right now, just for the sake of time, to a different color. And so what we do have here for Bitcoin is we have us coming up into the simple moving average line, the 200 SMA. They've split. And because they've split, there's a bit of a gap. We have it there at 60,000. And then we also have it above at around where we are now, which is actually providing resistance. And so what we're looking for here now for Bitcoin is a break above the 200 simple moving average at 63,500 and to flip that into support. We haven't managed to do that. Okay, we came up here and there's no successful retest. A successful retest, we come down and there's a retest and then we bounce off that line and we go. Okay, and here we saw it up and then a successful retest, get in the trade there and off to the races. And again, we came down and had another successful retest, and there was a couple of good swing trades, and then we came down and just broke straight through. So the 200 simple moving average, you can simply add that as an indicator. Just go up into your indicator and type in 200 SMA, and then look to add it. If you have any difficulty there, hit me up in the comments, or if there are a lot of people that can't add that, I'll look at helping out in the next video. And so this is really the area that we want to break through, 63,540. Now, I'm pretty sure if a CME cap was probably created on the weekend, it will be small if there is one. But if we look and we come down to here, here is the levels that we want to buy. So there are two levels we want to buy. We want to buy a flip of this line here, a break and a retest. We could jump in at around 63,500, 63,600, and a successful retest of this. And then we could ride a nice short trade up there from around 63 up to around 66. And this would likely be a bit of a take profit. The tribal trades trend line, by the way, the tribal trades trend line has acted as a better top than the 200 SMA. Because if you got out the 200 SMA, it melted through it there, and it melted through it there to the tribal trades trend line, okay? So the tribal trades trend line is the legit trend line right now, and we are going to break it at some point, and it is going to turn and flip into support. So if we go here, and then the idea is we come up to here, and we can either move our stop loss up, or if we break above this line, retest the support, and then we've got another tribal trades trend line over the top. And it could happen around here. Imagine the serendipity if we do get a break above the double-double tribal trades trend line. This is called the double-double, the double D triple trades trend line sitting there. This would happen at around the end of October there. So that would be pretty amazing if we saw a break there. Now, to the downside, if we do come down to 60,700 or 59,000, or basically 60,000, that's a buy area right now on a successful retest. But if we break below and we reject there, then that would be a sell signal, and you would wait for lower levels around probably that 57, 58K level, where the tribal trades trend line to the bottom also just happens to be. So we've got some very, very clear defined raises. Now, just remember, if you're moving and you're selling on the way up, you don't have to sell completely out of the position. You can just take profits off the table at these levels, okay? You can even, if you come up here and have a stop loss, you don't have to stop loss out of all the position. You can stop loss, partial stop loss, just taking your profits off the table if you really believe in a rejection that we're going to come back to here and then add them back at the 200 simple moving average there. And I will cover that in a little bit more detail in my altcoin show, which is coming up in just a couple of hours. Okay, so set your alarms. That's going to come out around about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This video usually comes out around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, maybe 15 minutes before, maybe 15 minutes after, just in that window. And then my altcoin show, you can set your alarm, generally will come out around 10 a.m., sometimes a little earlier, but 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until the next episode, happy trading.